Welcome to another religious education lesson about Hinduism. We are learning to recognize the belief that God has visited Earth at different times in different forms. In today's lessons, we will be talking about Hindu gods and especially the stories of Ganesha and Krishna. Let me show you a little video of something that happened to me at home, which had me thinking about how Hindus believe in God. Well, somebody's played a really mean trick on me, but it gave me an idea. I couldn't tell just by looking that the glass of water had salt in, because we can't see it, but it is there. And that's how Hindus believe in God. They believe that God is everywhere, but we can't see him. Hindus believe that there is one supreme God, but he is too big to imagine. His name is Brahman. He can be found in everything and everywhere. Hindus believe that God is in anything you can think of. He can show himself in many different ways. He is in all living things, and Hindus believe that God is inside us. They believe that God is always helping us. Because the big God is invisible, there are other Hindu gods who give us clues about what he's like. For example, Ganesh. He is quite fat, isn't he? He has an elephant head. Normally, people with elephant heads might look scary. But in fact, he looks rather nice, doesn't he? You can tell by his eyes that he is quite wise. Because he is wise, he can help us overcome many problems, just like a real elephant. Ganesh is really good at clearing the way ahead and making the path easier for you. Hindus pray to him at the beginning of something, for example, a car journey. He is a very popular Hindu god. Hindu gods are worshipped as male or female. For example, Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is male and Shakti is female. Or Vishnu and Lakshmi. Vishnu is male and Lakshmi is female. I believe you remember goddess Lakshmi from when we talked about Diwali. Hindus pray to Lakshmi and open the windows so that she can visit their houses. Let's talk about Ganesha's story. The story of how Ganesha broke his tusk is one of the most popular legends in Hindu mythology. Ganesha is also known as the one-toothed god because he broke his tusk, and tusk is kind of a tooth which elephants have, Because he broke it, we can sometimes call him one-toothed God. Let's read a book about him. Now pay good attention, because in the end you will have to recognize a god by the picture. So if you see a picture of a god with an elephant head, you will have to say, oh, it's Ganesha. And you will also have to describe them. Now we've also mentioned that Ganesha is really wise. Well, pay good attention so that you can say what other things are typical for him. What is he like? Or maybe, what does he look like? Now, this story is called Ganesha's Sweet Tooth, and it was written by Sanjay Patel and Emily Haynes. It was illustrated by Sanjay Patel. So that means Sanjay Patel is both the author and the illustrator. Ganesha is a Hindu god. He's very important and powerful, and a tad chubby. Now, chubby, that's a good adjective. Maybe you can use that one later. But when he was a kid, he was just like any other kid, except that he had an elephant's head and cruised around on a magical mouse collecting fruit, rice, sweets, and other gifts from the temples in his neighborhood. Ganesha loved to eat sweets and candy, especially the traditional Indian dessert laddu. His best friend, Mr. Mouse, could eat only one at a time, which was okay by Ganesha. He didn't want to share all his laddus. Squeak! Munch, 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 munch. One day, while Ganesha and Mr. Mouse were out looking for sweets, they discovered a new kind of laddu. The Super Jumbo Jawbreaker Laddu. Ganesha snatched up the shiny treat and was about to eat it right there on the spot. Wait! Squeaked Mr. Mouse. Don't eat it! It's a jawbreaker! It will break your tusk. But I'm a god, said Ganesha. I'm invincible. Ganesha popped the laddu in his mouth. He bit down and... What do you think happened next? After all, he is called the one-toothed god. Snap! Squeak! Oh no! Mr. Mouse yelled. How will I ever put my tusk back on? Ganesha wailed. Ganesha was very clever and he tried all sorts of ideas. What if I tie it on with string? What if I stick it on with glue? Maybe I could just hold it with my hand. But nothing worked. Oh wow, can you spot all these lovely animals? Can you see the tiger? Can you see the monkey? Can you see the bear? Ooh, can you spot the peacock? I look lopsided, he said. Everyone will laugh at me. No, they won't, said Mr. Mouse. Everyone loses their teeth. And besides, you already have an elephant's head, and your friends still love you. Ganesha wasn't convinced. He thought he looked awful. He took all his anger and frustration and hurled his tusk at the moon. But the tusk didn't hit the moon. It sailed over a bush and hit the head of an old man who was walking by. Ouch, that must have hurt. Tonk! Ooh, I bet that elephant tusk is really heavy. Is this your tusk? The old man asked. I'm sorry, said Ganesha. I didn't mean to hit you. I was aiming for the moon. What's your name? I'm Ganesha, and this is Mr. Mouse. You're Ganesha? The old man exclaimed. I've been looking for you. I'm Vyasa, the poet, and I need a special scribe for a poem. It's so long that no man could ever write the whole thing. All the pens in the world would break before it was done. I'm not a man, said Ganesha, and I love stories. But I don't have anything to write with. What about your tusk? Vyasa asked. Oh, that's just a big tooth, Ganesha said. It's a very special tooth, Vyasa explained, handing Ganesha a piece of paper. Give it a try. Ganesha took the paper and pressed down with the tip of his tusk. It made a mark. Ganesha was so excited that he drew a flower and a tree and a picture of Mr. Mouse along with a few of his other favourite things. I love my tusk, said Ganesha. I'd be happy to help you. What's the story about? The beginning of things, said Vyasa. It's rather hard to sum up. It's called the Mahabharata. Excuse me, said Mr. Mouse, jumping on the end of Ganesha's trunk. I don't mean to interrupt, but what exactly are the terms of this agreement? It is a very long poem after all. Can you tell the whole story in one go, Vyasa? No stopping? As long as you don't stop writing, said Vyasa. As long as Ganesha understands the meaning of everything I say. Can I eat sweets while I write? Asked Ganesha. Ganesha and Mr. Mouse agreed. Let's begin. As Vyasa spoke, Ganesha put his tusk to the paper and began writing. Soon he forgot all about the super jumbo jawbreaker ladder and how funny he looked. He even forgot about the sweets he wanted to eat. Long ago, Vyasa said, there lived a very brave king of Hastinapur. One day, when he was out hunting, he happened upon a beautiful woman sitting on the banks of the Ganga river. And so many other things happened. It's a very long poem. Can you see all the things that happened in the epic? 100,000 verses later, Ganesha put down his tusk. The Mahabharata, the great epic of Hindu literature, was complete. Ganesha peeked around a stack of paper and saw that Mr. Mouse had been eating his way through the ladders as they worked. The poem had taken a very long time. Can you see Mr. Mouse's tummy? Now he is quite chubby, isn't he? But Ganesha was happy to see there was still a few left for him and his friends. What a lovely story about Ganesha. I bet you remembered a lot and that you will be able to describe him with wonderful sentences. Let's talk about the second god we have planned for today. His name is Krishna. And I will show you a video, so don't forget, what is he like? Can you think of some adjectives that would describe Krishna? And you might describe his appearance. What does he look like? Here's the video.
A few hours after Krishna was born on earth, he had to be hidden away in case the demon killed him. So he was secretly taken to a little village and given to foster parents. His foster mother raised Krishna in safety among the farmers and cowherds. She was called Yashoda, and nobody told her naughty foster child was a god. Krishna was a very mischievous little boy who loved to play practical jokes and get into trouble. He loved butter and would do anything to eat it. Every day, he would put his chubby little hand in the butter pot and eat some. Each day, he ate more and more. Yashoda never had any butter left, so she decided to hide the clay butter pot where Krishna wouldn't find it. But you can't hide anything from a god, and Krishna always found the hidden pots. One day Yashoda tied the butter pot to the roof. She was sure that the small boy would never get onto the roof. Krishna saw the butter on the roof and soon had a plan. He climbed onto his foster brother's shoulders and broke the pot with a stone. Krishna and his brother ate as much butter as they could, and what was left they gave to the monkeys. Yashoda couldn't believe it. She had no butter once again and an awful mess to clear up. She decided that it was time Krishna was punished for stealing the butter. She chased the laughing Krishna round and round the village. Soon poor Yashoda was puffing and panting. Krishna decided it was time to let her catch him. "Did you take my butter again and make all that mess?" Yashoda asked the laughing child. "Mother, I never ate the butter," said Krishna, laughing cheekily. "Open your mouth and let me see if I can see the butter," ordered Yashoda. Krishna laughed all the more and clamped his mouth shut, making funny faces at Yashoda. "I am your mother and I'm telling you to open your mouth. Will you please do that?" Krishna knew that he should obey his mother, who he loved. So with a cheeky grin, he slowly opened his mouth as wide as he could. Yashoda peered into her son's mouth looking for the butter. She couldn't believe her eyes. Inside the child's mouth, she could see the moon, the sun, the stars, the heavens, and beyond. Yashoda was stunned. It slowly dawned on her that her mischievous little son was in fact a powerful god.
So that was the story of the god Krishna. Now it's time for you to do your work. You have two pictures of Hindu gods. One of them is Krishna and one of them is Ganesh. Can you recognize them? Which one is which? Now, if you're on your computer, you can drag and drop the name of the god into the box where it belongs. Now, which one's Krishna? Which one's Ganesh? At the end of the video, they described Krishna as cheeky. Now, that would be a brilliant adjective to include in your description. Maybe you can write, "He is cheeky." And then you can talk about his appearance. What does he look like? I bet there is lots you can describe. Brilliant job. I am excited to read some of your wonderful sentences. Would you like a challenge? You can draw a picture of a Hindu god. Now you can draw a picture of Ganesh or Krishna or some other Hindu god, maybe Lakshmi, flying on her owl during Diwali. And describe them. What are they like or what do they look like? Brilliant job, everybody. Now that's all from me for today. Thank you.